So guys, before we get started, don't forget we do have that amazing discount code thanks to Tier 0 Games going on right now. And all you have to do is put in ZWGames5 to get 5% discount on your total order at tier0games.com. The links will be in the description below. What's up YouTube, Day here for Several Games, bringing you a combo breakdown for Thunder Dragon Dangers. And whether you're looking to play this in the upcoming Nationals and European season, or the chances are you're going to be facing this the odd couple of times, you are going to need ways to either build your board or break their board. Their board going first can consist of 2 Colossus with an Abyss alongside the Hieratic Seals, the possibility of having a Phantasme in hand as well, not to mention a Hope Harbinger, or of course even a Goliath from the deck that can stop you special summon your extra deck. They also have the ability to OTK as well, very easily. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through a couple of test hands, one going first, one going second, and I'm going to also show you when to interrupt and what to interrupt with in order to slow this deck down. Now you can see I've got these 2 cards here. These are the main 2 cards that get your combo started. You don't have any direct way of searching these out, but what you do have is the ability to dig through your deck with stuff like Sekka's Light and all of your dangers as well. So we're going to start with these 2 because this is what is going to get you your best board straight off the bat, and then anything you have is only going to help you extend further. So our next 3 will be 1, 2 and 3. So we're going to discard the Thunder Dragon straight away. Now 9 out of 10, when they do that, you know they've got a danger in hand. So now would be the time to draw and lockbird them. Because as soon as they do that, they're increasing their hand size for the ability to increase the chances of Tsukunoko. You can of course ash them as well, and then they'll be left with 4 cards. You never really want to ash a danger, but what you've got to keep in mind is as soon as they go into Saruja, if they do it correctly, they'll be able to chain block you. So you've got to be very cautious. Unless you're using something like an Infinite Impermanence or an Effect Veiler which targets, so they will be your best interruptions there. So we're going to reveal our Dangerous Tsukunoko. Now you could reduce your hand size if you wanted to, just to make sure you've got the guaranteed plays, because what we do not want to be going to the graveyard is our Battery Solar Man, or of course the White Eclipse Wyvern. So 1 to 6, 5, this one here. So we lose one of the Thunder Dragons, which is why you add 2 Thunder Dragons to your hand anyway. That's going to summon our Dangerous Tsukunoko. Tsukunoko's effect is going to go off to draw us 1. Got an extra Battery Solar Man. That's not the end of the world because it can act as additional discard fodder. But what we can do now is we can normal summon the Battery Solar Man, use Battery Solar Man's effect. Again, this is another time to interrupt. If you want to ash them, this can really slow down their combo, because the whole point of this is that they send the Thunder Dragon Roar. When we get it, there we go, they send the Thunder Dragon Roar from the deck to the grave. Now 9 times out of 10 when they're doing this, it means they've got the White Eclipse Wyvern in hand as well. You then banish the Thunder Dragon Roar off of the White Eclipse Wyvern and summon itself down. You then trigger Roar's effect to summon out Thunder Dragon Dark from the deck. That will then trigger Battery Solar Man's effect to give you a token. Now this is the ideal board. We still haven't used, we've just used our normal summon, and we've used the summon of Dangerous Tsukunoko, so that was an additional bonus. If they don't have that, basically with this board you end up with a Saruja plus a Colossus. That's at base minimum. Without the additional summon, you just end with a Saruja, and then of course you're going to use Saruja's special summon effect a little bit more to move your plays further forward. Now what you got to remember as well is with Chaos Dragon Levineer, by banishing, by the time we've done this combo, we'll end up with, I believe, 3 lights, so we can play the light combo and then bring back a card. That instantly can get you 2 Colossuses, but we want to be pushing further forward because we're going to search out the Black Eclipse Wyvern and we're going to do the full Guard Dragon combo. So we're going to shuffle all this up. You want to use the token and the 3 monsters, not the Thunder Dragon monster. And this is where you chain block your opponent. So you go Saruja chain link 1, and because you sent the White Eclipse Wyvern, you go White Eclipse Wyvern as chain link 2. This then chain blocks your opponent from stopping your Saruja, because that is the most important play that you want right now. So by doing so, you get to search out the Black Eclipse. I keep calling it Black Eclipse, it's not actually Black Eclipse, it's Collapse Serpent. So we search this out, and then we get to use Saruja's effect. Now this again is where it's very important, so hold your Veiler, hold your Impermanence, till they drop Skull Dread. That is when you can really cause them a lot of issues. Obviously, it's not the end of the world because they'll still end with a Saruja and a Colossus, but it's a lot more easy to deal with than, you know, whatever else they could draw to extend their board. I mean, at this moment in time, it's still not the best plays because just off the search of the Wyvern Buster, which you can stop the Wyvern Buster as well, that makes it a little bit harder. What they can do is they bring down Collapse Serpent and they go from there. But we're going to draw a 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Hawk, it gives you an additional Thunder Dragon, which is great. We're going to search that off of Dark anyway, so that's an easy one back. Sukanoko is another easy one back. And Battery Solar Man is another easy one back. You could send back Bigfoot if you wanted to and keep the Sukanoko, but it increases your chance of discarding the Sukanoko, which is what you don't want to do. Now what we're going to do is we're going to banish any of our light monsters and we're going to summon down our black Collapse Serpent. We're going to turn our Thunder Dragon Dark first into a Colossus, and you need to make sure it goes onto the far left side. We're then going to trigger Dark as effect and we're going to search out the Hawk. Now we're going to do the Guard Dragon combo and we're going to turn Black Collapse Serpent into LP. We're going to use Black Collapse Serpent's effect to search out another white. This gives you a additional hand advantage for, of course, your dangers. So the more cards you have in the hand, the harder it is for your opponent to pick that exact danger. What we don't want them to do when we reveal Bigfoot is for them to hit it, and we do want to ideally summon it. That then gets you your Hope Harbinger. Anyway, we're going to use LP's effect because both Skull Dread and itself point to it, and we're going to summon out a card from the deck. Now, you can choose to summon out Brotor. Brotor can then target and add either a Dark Dragon, or it can add a Dark Thunder. So we're going to bring out Brotor. You could put Eclipse Wyvern if you wanted to, and then that, of course, will get you the banish of Levineer Dragon for the next turn, so you have 2 Levineer Dragons. With this, we can do an early search for Darkest Diablos, because as soon as we use Hawk's effect, we then get another level 8 on board, which just increases your chance of the Hope Harbinger without having to use a Colossus. There we go. We're then going to use Skull Dread and Brotor to go into your Agapane. You're then going to use Agapane's effect to summon down an Abyss. We're then going to use Agapane and LP to now unlock you from being locked into dragons, and we're going to go into Hieratic Seal, and we're going to put the Hieratic Seal over this side here. So now that we've got all of this, the base minimum you can do without getting any of your danger summons is you can rip one from your opponent's hand by banishing 3 darks. So you can go your well, we can keep the Brotor Ring so we can summon that back out. Let's go with banish the Snake. So we banish those 3 there, we bring down the Levineer. We get to shuffle 1 random card from our opponent's hand back into the deck. You can then discard your Thunder Dragon Hawk to revive your Thunder Dragon Roar. Tribute off the Thunder Dragon Roar and go into a second Colossus, which will then trigger Diablos to come down. You can then overlay Diablos and Levineer and go into your Hope Harbinger. Now, you still have an extension for your next turn with your Wyvern Buster. You still have, which will then trigger off Roar again, which gives you another Colossus back. You also have Bigfoot and Sukanoko to extend. Bigfoot, you're better off, you can hold it right now. There's no need for it to be on the board because we've got the Diablos. You've also got to remember that we have Brotor in the graveyard that can then do us a lot of damage that way. And then during our opponent's turn, we can use Hieratic Seal to bounce one of our opponent's cards. And if you do play Goliath or Sloth, you can special summon him out. That means they have to go into battle phase in order to clear that off and then special summon from the extra deck. Alternatively, what you could do is you can summon out a second Brotor, target your Abyss and search out your Phantasme. Obviously the issue with that is your board is completely full, so there's no way of getting the Phantasme onto the board. Or you can search out a Chaos Dragon Levineer, and that gives you another play for next turn. So that is just the standard kind of combo going first. All I'm going to do to change this going second is you would leave the Hieratic Seals there, you'd have Colossus there, you would have your Levineer there, your Diablos there, and instead of going into Bane, you'd go into Borrel Sword. That's overextension at its finest. You don't need to do this at all. You could even, if you wanted to, use the Hieratic Seals early, which means you didn't need to search out the Diablos, and then summon that down as well. When you do the Levineer, you would banish Light and Dark to destroy 2 cards on the board, and you're just completely clearing your opponent's boards off. So then what you're going to do is you use Boral Sword, you're going to switch one of these to defense, probably the Colossus because it's on 24, but you make sure it attacks first. This one would of course be on 29 because it came under the Saruja, and if you notice throughout that entire combo, we didn't even need to use the special summon effect of Saruja as well. This is just how powerful this deck can be. And obviously when you're ending on a board, your first turn like this, and your opponent is down to 5 cards, they have to open up a Ra Sphere mode, which uses up their normal summon. And even then, the Ra Sphere mode, okay, let's say you take out the 2 negates. If they can search, you take out the 2 negates and the Colossus. If they need to search, they then have to take out the 2 Colossus and one of these 2. Ideally, you take out the Abyss because it deals with both spells and traps. Evenly Match right now is of no use to your opponent because at Evenly Match you negate it with Abyss. Infinite Impermanence is a good one on this one, but again, you'd have to target... I mean, you target the Hope Harbinger, and then you can either leave Abyss or you use Abyss to negate because you want Hope Harbinger to absorb the material. If they go into battle phase because they think they've got a bigger beta to deal with these, and you've already used the Hieratic Seal, you can use Hope Harbinger to redirect the attacks to this, and that again gives you additional protection for your monsters that are on the board. So trying to combat this board with 4 cards in your hand, and if you've used any hand traps and they've been able to play through it, then of course you're going to be down to 3 cards as well, if not a little bit more. So what you ideally want to be doing with this deck is you want to be hitting them as early on as possible. Slowing down the Saruja stops or takes out one of their luck phases. However, they can still loop around and go into a second Saruja should they need to. What you want to be stopping is you want to be stopping the Battery Solar from putting a Thunder Dragon to the graveyard. Droll and Lockbird, like I showed at the start, as soon as they activate the Thunder Dragon effect to search out 2 more copies of itself, you know they're going to be, you know, they've got a danger in hand. That is their play. The normal summons that they're going to be consisting of will be Armageddon Knight, and of course the Battery Solar. In this build, they do run Sekka's Light, so it does mean you don't have to worry about any spells or traps. So for a side deck version, you know, you're not going to have to worry about a lot of back row hate. Mystic Mine completely wrecks this deck because the only out they have to Mystic Mine is the discard of Danger Bigfoot for now. Because they don't run any spells because of the Sekka's Light draw engine, and what they will do 9 times out of 10 is side these out against Mystic Mine and put in MSTs, Twin Twisters and stuff like that. The danger element, of course, is pure luck and fluke. There's not a lot that you could really stop with the dangers. They kind of just have to happen. If you ash a danger, it doesn't do anything. They just reveal it and go again, unless you're ashing the graveyard effect. The summon effect to draw is all in one, so as soon as they've revealed it, they will get the draw. It's not a separate effect. Levineer Dragon right now is an incredibly powerful card. Its effect to destroy does not target, so that's very good. And shuffling back in the hand is also good. If they only banish lights, they get to special summon 1 from the graveyard, so that's where you can kind of, again, it doesn't target. So Call by the Grave will always stop Thunders in general, but Call by the Grave on a Levineer, it just means they can choose another target unless they only have like 1 target in grave, which is very rare that will be the case. Like I said, Battery Solar Man is probably their most important normal summon, so hitting this with an Ash is always very good. Ogre is good as well, because what you do by hitting this with the Ogre is you stop them getting 2 monsters on the board, because you would stop them hitting their Battery Solar Man. Yes, they would banish the Thunder Dragon from the graveyard, and their board would then be the White Eclipse Wyvern and a Thunder Dragon Dark, but they no longer have a token, so they would then have to extend twice, if not 3 times, from a danger in order to go into a Saruja Colossus combo play. The deck can play through quite a lot of disruption, so it's hitting it at the right time with the right cards can really slow them down. But like I said, the danger engine itself is just too powerful to keep the consistency of this deck going. One of the biggest weaknesses of this deck is it does lose to itself. And by that, what I mean is it can brick itself because it does play a lot of high-level monsters with minimal ways of getting them out of the hand to the graveyard without a danger in the hand. If you then play, of course, the Colossus, that is where it's important that they need to rush to Saruja in order to fix the extra deck. If you did want to, of course, Ghost Reaper them, Colossus is probably one of your first targets. An alternate target as well is LP, because getting LP stops them going into the full Guard Dragon combo. That getting rid of LP will then stop the ability to go into the Hieratic Seals, the ability to go into Abyss, and obviously Agapane is less relevant because they don't play anything that points left, apart from, of course, Nightmare Unicorn and Borrowload, and even then they have to really overextend. So by hitting the LP in the extra deck, you stop 4 cards in their extra deck straight away. So that is it for a quick little breakdown on the deck, just to give you an idea of what you could possibly be facing and how you can kind of stop it. The other kind of main meta decks that I did in the meta video the other day all have their own pluses and weaknesses. I don't know those decks as well as these decks, but if you would like to see a kind of video like this where I do a first turn kind of combo play and a second turn kind of combo play of what they can produce, and then speak to you through ways in which to stop those for the upcoming format, then please let me know. I'll be more than happy to look into them, do a bit more research and kind of push it further forward that way, just so you guys have a better understanding. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Until next time, guys, as always, happy dueling.
What's up, YouTube? Dad here from Zephyr Games. Thanks for watching that video. If you liked it, please hit that big thumbs up button in the bottom corner as well. And don't forget to hit the big red subscribe button so you don't miss out on anything. Make sure you click that notification bell as well so you know every time one of our new videos goes up. Throughout the whole year of 2019, we're going to have more deck profiles, duels, and of course pack openings for you guys to watch and enjoy the entire year round. So stay tuned for more, and as always, guys, happy dueling.